to the Fantasy Football Fanatics podcast with your hosts Griffin Palmer, CJ Hickman, Jason Cabrera, and Ryan Mitchell.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the show. It is Tuesday, June 27th. This is the Fantasy Football Fanatics podcast. I want to welcome everyone there out there to the show today. I'm your host, Griffin Palmer. I am joined, as always, by my co-host, CJ the Hitman Hickman. What's up, CJ?
Hey, guy.
Hey, man. And, of course, Jason Cabrera. What's up, Jason?
How's it going?
Oh, it's going pretty good. You know, another day, getting yet another day closer to actual football. So,
yes,
I guess that's exciting.
Football. Bring it to me.
It's amazing how much faster the offseason goes by when you talk about it on a regular basis and have a podcast. So, you know, it's good times. Well, we have an amazing show for you guys today. Today, we are going to be doing a 3-team style Contrarian Mock Draft. So, that sounds kind of interesting. You know, maybe you don't know what that is. Basically, what we're going to be doing is all three of us are going to be drafting teams at the exact same time in the same draft lobby. But the twist is we're all going to be drafting with strategies that directly contrast what we do in our actual live drafts when come draft season. So we're going to be probably not having as much fun as you listeners are going to be having, but we're hoping, you know, maybe we'll have some good takeaways, see how it turns out. Could be fun. Of course, we're also going to bring you all the top 100 reveals from last night. We obviously got through numbers 10 through number 1, and of course, as always, all the top headlines from around the league, a little bit of bookkeeping. As always, please make sure you guys subscribe to the show. We are on iTunes, we are on Stitcher, we are on Podcast Addict, we are on basically every audio streaming service that I can think of, anyone that ties in through daily updates with podcasts. Just search for the Fantasy Football Fanatics podcast, and you'll probably find us there. If not, send us a message, and we'll try to get on there. You can subscribe to the show and follow us on Twitter at the FF Fanatics, the easiest way to interact with us here at the show, and of course the show itself. You can follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/the Fantasy Football Fanatics. Join the community over there. Most importantly, of course, if you want to support the show, which we've been getting more traction with lately, head over to patreon.com/the Fantasy Football Fanatics. Get yourself a bonus, usually much more in-depth topic show every single week, and lots of cool perks as well. And one step further, as always, if you guys want to challenge us to fantasy football this year, you can join our listener league by doing our iTunes review challenge. I can't talk for some reason. All you have to do, head over to iTunes, give us a rating, give us a review, and you will automatically be entered in for a chance to play against us in fantasy football for the 2017 season. You'll be randomly selected once the voting closes, or not the voting, the polling, I should say, closes in August, and leave a Twitter handle at the bottom of it so we can reach out to you and let you know that you've won, and then we'll figure out the league format based on talking to you guys, the winners. So again, if you want to challenge us and think you can beat us at fantasy football, all you have to do is head over to to iTunes and give us a review. We are off the rails already. This is going poorly.
You all right there?
Not really. I am very tired, but we're going to move on. I've got my trusty...
It's either too much Monster or not enough Monster.
Not enough, but I just opened one, so I should be good to go momentarily. Just need a chance to stop talking and chug half the bottle down. Anyway, we're going to move into a warm-up question for the day, and this one comes in from James in Nashville, Tennessee, and his question is, what are your thoughts on a points per rushing attempt league? So, guys, we actually play in a league like this. Why don't you guys weigh in here?
Yeah, I like it, man. I think it's really cool. I mean, you get somebody that's really good going into a good rushing offense situation. It's going to work for you. If you get somebody that you like, but you know they tend to go away from later on, but you know, say if the rushing game is not working out at first, but you know, offenses don't clearly go away from the run altogether, so they're probably going to come back to it. So, say if you're in a tough matchup later on, that guy that you got, they're finally starting to give him the ball, and now that's edging you out, and you probably won a week just off of that. And you probably were mad about it at first, but you know they're coming back to it. So I think it's a good, nice little thing to add on to a league, make it a little more competitive. I can see the back end of it saying that, you know, the disadvantage of saying, you know, hey, look, you know, I think that's pretty lame, but I like it overall, just having another feature to fantasy football.
Jason?
Yeah, it gives you an opportunity to look at players that you don't normally. Maybe you wouldn't normally look at, someone who is going to get the ball at the end of the game when you're up and all you got to do is just run out the clock and run on the ball. It gives you more touches, more chances to get more points. So anytime that it gives you an opportunity to have to strategize a little bit more, you know, and this is definitely something that would do that. You know, points per carry, it gives you the opportunity to go, okay, who's going to get the rock more? Who's going to touch the ball more running on the ground? You go get, you know, someone like a Le'Veon Bell, who is a fantastic running back, and he gets a lot of his points through the air, as opposed to going and get somebody like, Stewart when he was in his prime. You got to be able to figure out which one's going to be on the ground more often, who's going to get more touches. So I like it. I love the opportunity to game plan out even more.
For me, I'm wondering here, does he mean full point per rushing attempt? Because that's excessive. That's ridiculous. I mean, you have those running backs who get you the 260 or higher threshhold. I mean, Ezekiel Elliott had 322 attempts last year, so that is just a huge uptick. What we do in our big league of record is we give it 0.1 point. So I mean, I wouldn't go as high as even half point, because these guys, the higher tiered guys, they rush the ball 20 times a game, some of them. So you're talking about, even at half point, an extra 10 points guaranteed from the position. So I like this in addition to PPR, obviously points per reception, as we all know it. But I like it as a very diminished, because those guys usually will get maybe 6 to 10 receptions a game, where the running back is going to get a piece of that if they're pass catching back, and then is going to carry the rock at least 15 to 20 times a game in most cases. Yeah. So it's a fun way to spice up your league. I think it's always fun to have new creative ways to have scoring, but you don't want to overdo it, because if you go full point per rush, you're going to so crazily overvalue the running back position. You're not even going to see other positions come off the board until probably like the third or fourth round. So I recommend it. It's a lot of fun, but you have to really have a small point, per attempt, decimal wise.
I'd agree with that.
So yeah, that's what I would say. I'd say go for it. Like I said, that's what we do in our big league of record. We have points per passing attempt, points per rush, points per reception, but it's customized scoring, so it all kind of meshes together really well, and it works out well. If you want to know more about that, I'm sure we'll break that down in a future show for more advanced ways to play fantasy. Anywho, let's go ahead and move on to our top headlines from around the league. Not much to talk about today, other than, of course, the NFL Top 100. We finally got numbers 10 through 1, and guys, we were spot on with the 10 candidates, so kudos to us. Not so accurate on what the list would turn out to be, which is why I didn't even try, because it's a popularity contest. It's not really based on much. So let's run these down really fast. At number 10, we have Matt Ryan, quarterback, Atlanta Falcons, unranked a year ago. So league MVP, came in 10th. Number 9, Le'Veon Bell, running back for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He was 41 a year ago, came in 9th this year, so big jump there. Number 8, Odell Beckham Jr., wide receiver for the Giants. He was 10 a year ago, moved up a couple spots. Ezekiel Elliott, obviously a rookie. He came in at number 7. That's awesome. Running back, obviously, for Dallas. Aaron Rodgers, quarterback for Green Bay Packers. He repeated at the number 6 spot. Khalil Mack, he came in, linebacker for the Oakland Raiders, at number 5. He was number 13 a year ago. Number 4, Antonio Brown, wide receiver, Pittsburgh Steelers. He was number 4 a year ago, so he also did not move. Number 3, one spot ahead of him, Julio Jones, wide receiver, Atlanta Falcons. He was number 8 a year ago. Von Miller at number 2, linebacker for the Denver Broncos. He was number 15 just a year ago. And number 1, Tom freaking Brady, quarterback, New England Patriots, moved up from the number 2 spot a year ago. So, guys, I figured we'd probably have some interesting debates here and some, to me, slightly surprising turnouts. What are you guys' thoughts on this list?
I think it's no doubt. I have all the respect in the world for the players on this list. It's the way that it was ordered that was really, really interesting to me. I mean, I no disrespect to Von Miller, but I thought Aaron Rodgers was going to be number 2. You know what I mean? Well, I think I even said probably Rodgers was number 1 just off the plays that he was making. But even number 2 is better. But to have Aaron Rodgers 6, that's pretty wild and pretty ridiculous to me. That was really my only. That and Antonio Brown, I know Jason's going to fill me on this one. Antonio Brown being 4 and Julio Jones being 3. Listen, look, Julio Jones, he's nice, but he is not nicer than Antonio Brown. We need to stop disrespecting this man. Antonio Brown is the number 1 wide receiver in the league, and stop trying to make Julio be that dude when he's not. He's not that guy.
Jason?
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, Julio Jones is a fantastic one-on-one receiver. He may be the best one-on-one receiver in the league. He's got every single tool you could possibly want. The problem is he's completely inconsistent. He's the ultimate boom bust. He gets hurt a lot. Number 3, the best, the best wide receiver on the list. No, I disagree with that completely. I would even put Odell Beckham Jr. above Julio Jones. He's down there at 8. So I completely agree. I don't think he deserves to be there at number 3. Von Miller, I can see at number 2. I got no argument with that. Khalil Mack at number 5, I got no argument with that. That guy is a freaking beast. We talked about that. Aaron Rodgers obviously should be higher. I mean, even if you switched Julio Jones and Aaron Rodgers' names, I'd be more comfortable with this list. Matt Ryan had an MVP season, and he's down there at number 10. I mean, he was unranked the year before, so I mean, that's a heck of a jump, but still probably deserved to be a bit higher. And the fact that we're talking about the top 10 and we're not talking about David Johnson, and I mentioned this last show, really, really irritates me. It just really super irritates me. He should be in this list in the top 5, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's a little bit of homer there, but I think most people would agree.
I'm about to say,
I
look at this list. I'm looking at this list. Who do you move down? Who do you move down outside the top 10 and put David Johnson?
Well, Julio Jones, obviously. I'd move the heck out of Julio Jones, you know.
Well,
okay.
A lot of people, and clearly the players agreed, that Julio Jones is potentially the best pure receiver in the league. His biggest problem for fantasy purposes has always been injuries, and he doesn't get very heavy use in the red zone. Well, I mean, his inconsistencies, especially this past year, but that's because Kyle Shanahan was using him as a diversion half the time. So I'm not surprised to see the wide receivers turn out the way. Well, I guess that's a lie. I thought Antonio Brown would be ahead of him, but I mean, I'm not like, it doesn't shock me. So, and we knew that these 3 guys were going to be in there. I was a little intrigued to see both of them that much further away from Odell Beckham. So that was something. As far as the quarterback situation, as much as it pains me to admit it, you know, Tom Brady, this is a stat that a lot of people aren't really talking about. Yeah, he did miss a handful of games because of his suspension, but did you guys know that he only threw 2 interceptions all of last year?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did, because he was on my team. Yeah,
that's insane. His second highest passer quarterback rating in the league last year. I mean, he was on pace, as I mentioned way back when we were doing our quarterback review show, talking about how if he had played the full season with the pace he was on, he would have finished as the number 2 fantasy quarterback right behind Aaron Rodgers yet again. I mean, he was on a great pace. Of course, he won the Super Bowl. They had that historic 28-3 comeback. So I'm not surprised at all to see him as the number 1 guy. Aaron Rodgers, I still like as a high pressure quarterback throwing, especially for fantasy purposes. I'm going to take Aaron Rodgers 10 times out of 10 over Tom Brady. But you can make a good debate either way for these guys. So I'm not going to say again I was blown away, surprised by this, but disappointed because I think, like you said, Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady should have been considerably closer than they were. Von Miller, is Von Miller. I'm very intrigued though. I mean, obviously we know he's a freak athlete. He can do almost anything as far as a pass rusher. But I'm going to be interested to see how he continues to play with Wade Phillips gone now. I don't think people are talking about that enough. And, Ezekiel Elliott finishing ahead of Le'Veon Bell. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
You know what? You just got to – I gotta agree with that. I'll agree with that just because the year that they had. And, I mean, this is a dude that we all – I mean, last year's draft season that we were talking about, I mean, you saw the college tape. And you're just inserting that kind of a player and that play and those plays that he was making and putting it behind one of the best offensive lines in the NFL. And it was going to be instant goal. I mean, this dude went from a guy that was probably going to go in late rounds until he got drafted by the Cowboys, and he just skyrocketed up to the first and second round. That's how good that line was and how people saw that talent. And so when we saw it going through the whole season, he had a little bit of slow start. I mean, that's what rookies do. But after that, and he started to slow down and get acclimated to the league, the dude just went off, man. And to hear that he's going to get more involved in the passing game, that's even better because you look at his tape, he was absolutely ridiculous in their passing game. He was a great receiver. I mean, he's an all around player when it comes to the running back position. I have no problems where he was at. I thought he was going to go up a little more. But, I mean, he just had one heck of a year.
I'd agree with that. Jason, what are your thoughts?
Part of this problem with this list is we don't know. I mean, are they talking about production? Are they talking about just pure, he's a better player, so on and so forth? If they're saying he's just pure a better player, I'd go Le'Veon Bell to be over Ezekiel Elliott. I mean, Ezekiel Elliott's a very, very good running back, but Le'Veon Bell, in my opinion, is he's just better all around. I mean, he's better out of the backfield. When he's not injured, he's better. So yeah, I understand why they did it, but I could definitely see it in the reverse as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to find the stats breakdown that I did when I crunched the numbers with how they would have finished if they both played a full season. Obviously, Ezekiel Elliott, he was used very sparingly the last couple weeks, and obviously Le'Veon Bell missed a quarter of the season on suspension. But as I recall, Le'Veon Bell would have finished ahead of Ezekiel Elliott in almost every statistical category of the pace he was on. So, I mean, it's something to take into consideration. We know what Le'Veon Bell is. Obviously, he's got an injury history, but he's been in the league for considerably longer, so that's not shocking. But, I mean, Ezekiel Elliott, crazy good season as a rookie. They're going to build on that. Of course, does he have as good of a year, though, if he didn't go to Dallas to a perfect situation behind a monstrous offensive line, a top 3 offensive line? It's debatable. I mean, everyone agrees that he is a phenomenal generational type talent, but it's interesting to see if he makes this top 10 on the players list if he wasn't in Dallas.
That's the same argument people were saying about Dak Prescott. Does he play? He plays. If he was behind a different offensive line. So I mean, I feel like that's just mush talk. That's just stuff that just talk to make talk. I mean, look, we can't go back. There's no hindsight.
Obviously,
this is what we were presented. This dude was he got this opportunity. First of all, I mean, I'm not trying to just get away from Zeke, but Dak Prescott, he was supposed to be the third quarterback on that list. Current events happened. He jumped up, took advantage of the opportunity that was presented to him, and he took that role. A role that, you look at the magnitude behind that position. You are an African American being the starting quarterback of one of the historic franchises in the NFL, and to be able to take that role. Plus, you're getting ready to replace Tony Romo, a darling to Dallas. You're gonna be that dude, and he does it so with so much humility, and when you see him play, it's absolutely crisp. I mean, you go back to his preseason games, to the what we were talking about before the show, man. The awesome games that they had this year, the games against the Green Bay, a game against Philly that they won that in Dallas, a game against Pittsburgh. All those games on top of games this dude did, and he was absolutely a beast in it. And Zeke was a part of that too. Those 2 rookies were absolutely phenomenal this past season. I have yet to see something like that happen in the NFL.
Oh, yeah, and of course, without bringing race into it, just the situation, as you mentioned, as a whole. I mean, to come in as what is, they just finished a survey recently where, yet again, the Cowboys have finished as the #1 most popular team in the country, largest fan base, volatile fans, following up what we all believe will be a future Hall of Fame player in Tony Romo. Probably not first ballot, but we all think he'll get in because his numbers stood for themselves. A huge spotlight on the kid, and yeah, he went out there, did a fantastic job, and that ties in, like we just said, with Ezekiel Elliott as well, getting back to the topic at hand. But it's just an interesting conversation point, and I just personally believe that if he didn't wind up in such a perfect situation, Le'Veon Bell easily would have finished ahead of him. He would have had more troubles. His stats wouldn't be as flushed out, but I mean, still fantastic
this
talent.
Year.
We will.
They'll both be able to. I mean, if everything stays good, knock on wood, they both can be able to play 16 games, and we'll see what's going on. I think it's a good conversation because you add David Johnson to the mix. We'll really see, with all 3 guys, we'll just see who will be the #1. Because this will probably be another conversation, just like when we do the wide receiver position between Antonio Brown, Odell, and Julio. Who's truly #1? Who's truly #2? Who's #3?
True. I mean, Le'Veon Bell has the best offense. Ezekiel Elliott, they took some hits to that offensive line this offseason. And David Johnson, the offense around him, is finally healthy. So it's going to be interesting to see how all these roles kind of change. Of course, Le'Veon Bell has additional targets coming in now, so maybe not used as heavily in the passing game. That affects fantasy production, even in standard leagues. So, we'll see how it plays out. But let's go ahead and move on. That's what kind of surprised us. But, hey, look, we were right. We got the 10 players right. But the order, I don't think we had any chance of actually guessing right. So let's move on. Only bit of news to really talk about today is that quarterback Cam Newton of the Carolina Panthers has started throwing his first passes since his spring shoulder surgery. So that's good news if you're a fan of Cam Newton going to this year's fantasy season. All right, so with that, let's jump into our Contrarian Mock Draft. So we're going to go ahead and randomly generate our numbers for where we're going to be drafting. I'm going to generate the first number is number 8. So CJ, you are drafting out of the number 8 spot. Jason, the number 7 spot, and I will be drafting out of the... I did not want that. The number 3 spot. So,
jeez.
Let's go ahead and
This is very contrarian.
Let's go ahead and get into our draft. Enter name. All right. So now, again, what we're doing here for all of you listening at home, we are going to be drafting 3 teams. We are all in the exact same draft lobby, and we're going to be drafting in strategies that directly contrast what we do regularly. Now, the point of this is both because we want to experience new things. We want to be able to talk to you guys about exactly. We want to be able to, see how these strategies work because, here as a show, I'm not going to say we're set in our ways, but we know what we like. We know what works for us. So this is hopefully going to be slightly eye-opening, and it should be very interesting to see how this turns out and see if this sways our opinions. And we're going to take what we learned from this and really dive into it and do a lot of analysis down the line. So to break down what we're going to be doing, I personally am going to be drafting for setting up a strong starting lineup. I'm going to be trying to round out my starters first. This is in direct contrast to what I normally do. Normally, if you know much about me or follow the show, I go super late quarterback, super late tight end. I'm always trying to fill up as much quality depth at my multi-starting positions, running back and wide receiver throughout the first, I really do that throughout really the first until I get to double digits, really. CJ, you are going to be going hardcore zero RB strategy. And now, zero RB, you see people like, oh, I went wide receiver with my first 2 picks. I went zero RB, ha ha ha. Well, the strategy itself, actually, if you really went into it last year with the analytics and everything that went into it after the horrendous 2015 season that the running backs had, hardcore zero RB strategy was you go the first 4 to 5 rounds without drafting a running back. Generally, almost all those picks usually at wide receiver. So this should be interesting because we like to be fluid. I know CJ is very partial to his running backs. And Jason is going to be, ironically enough, doing my typical draft strategy. He's going to be going super late quarterback and super late tight end. He's going to be trying to fill out all of his starters and get as much depth as he can, like I said, at the running back, at the wide receiver position, getting as much as quality depth as he can at those trying to be set for the season. Or just depth, depending on how you look at it. So, with that being said, we are into the draft in about 3 minutes. So, guys, what are you expecting to take away from this draft?
I am feeling. Yeah, I'm probably
nauseous feeling.
Almost punching this computer at each pick. But I'll try to find some optimism behind this. Look, I think that if taking this approach will let me be able to see. I mean, I already know what's there now, but just to get a vibe, what the running backs will look like if you did go that approach. You got to get into your stuff, man, and be able to go deep dive and get a bargain shopping basically when it comes to those running backs who you think will be able to get some good upside after the fifth round that you can be able to plug in starters and then plus get depth too. So this is going to be it's going to be interesting.
I'm excited to see how your team shakes out, CJ, because you're going to be doing a lot of rookies and a lot of upside picks at running back. You're going to be going zero RB for the first 4 to 5 rounds and then probably drafting a ton of running backs hoping one of them hits. Jason, how about you? Says you're doing what I do generally. So what are you expecting to take away from this draft?
Well, I'm gonna try to be as condescending to everyone as possible.
Wouldn't be you if you weren't.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna hold off on tight ends, hold off on quarterbacks until the late rounds.
Usually double digit, I believe, is the typical way to do this. That's what I do personally. I know some people who do the strategy say that if somebody falls to the 8th, 9th round, usually 9th round is when people start looking at quarterback. But me personally, I usually wait a little bit longer. Ooh, we have another live drafter in the lobby with us, so this should be fun.
Yeah, really? We have 2 actually. There's 2 other ones in there. One at 1 and 1 at 11.
We have 1 at the 1 spot and 1 at the 11 spots. All right, live drafts. Interesting things happen. This should be fun. So personally, myself, I'm expecting to hate my team when this is done because I'm going to be drafting a super early quarterback and a super early tight end. And with
now, when you say super early, how early are we talking?
I mean, the best value available to me. If Aaron Rodgers falls to me in the 2nd round, I'm going to take him. So as much as I love Aaron Rodgers, the thought of drafting a quarterback in the 2nd round is disgusting to me. So, I mean...
Most number of points of any player. Why would you want that? That's crazy talk.
Because of the way the position works. I could easily...
They have cooties.
Crazy talk.
Okay, I have gone into this extensively in the past why you don't need to reach for quarterback.
Moving on.
I'm not wrong. all the stats and the numbers back up my argument, but we're not going to get into that now because we have 20 seconds before the draft starts. But I'm expecting
Jason,
to
don't
have...
mess with a stapler. Don't mess with a stapler.
I'm expecting to have a great starting lineup and absolutely no depth. So I think that if anyone gets hurt, I'm going to be screwed. So we'll see how this goes. Our draft starts in about 5 seconds, so let's say our last second prayers and hope this works out well for us.
Meanwhile, my starters are going to suck.
Potentially. All right, so the first team is on the board. So let's see how this plays out. Live drafters, of course, we have to fill time talking. Yeah, his name is YG. Interesting choice of name.
David Johnson off the break.
Oh, gee.
David Johnson and Le'Veon Bell off the board. So I'm sitting here. I think it's obvious. We talked a lot about on our Contrarian show, which is what inspired this show, of course, the merits of going with a wide receiver in the top 3 pick because of the running backs that could make it back to you. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go ahead and draft Ezekiel Elliott. So he is on my team.
Of course.
It's not that contrarian. It's not that far contrarian.
No, not even a little bit.
All right.
Julio Jones went next. Okay, so NFL Top 100 is reflecting on our draft. Julio Jones, Antonio Brown, Odell Beckham, Jason is on the board.
Okay, let's see. I've got a couple of options here. LaShawn McCoy is probably the easiest option. I've actually got Marshawn Lynch rated higher than LaShawn McCoy, so I'm actually...
You're gonna pick Marshawn. You're gonna pick Marshawn here.
I'm gonna go with Marshawn. I'm gonna go with Marshawn.
That is
I got him rated higher.
Boldness.
I got him rated higher.
You just lost so many viewers for the show. That's insanity.
Well, I definitely, if I was not doing this strategy, I definitely would go Jordan Howard here. But I'm going to stay committed to this. I'm gonna stay committed. I'm going to go ahead and go with the guy that's there. I mean, this dude I like, and I think this is a good pick. So I'm going to go ahead and go Mike Evans here.
I'm shocked that, A, LaShawn McCoy didn't go to you, Jason, and that you didn't have him as your highest guy, CJ. So Mike Evans, LaShawn McCoy went next, then Melvin Gordon, and now this guy who goes by simply the letter M on the board. He went with Jay Ajayi and Jordan Howard to round out the first. Top of the second, Devontae Freeman, and M is back on the board. Todd Gurley for M. AJ Green went, DeMarco Murray. CJ is back on the board. So CJ, who are you looking at, buddy?
I'm back on the clock. We talked about this dude. I mean, Griffin, I know he's Google goggles over him a lot. He had Jordy Nelson there. I still got a lot of good players here, but a name that I really believe in, just because I know the quarterback is just known for throwing the ball ridiculously and has over multi-seasons of doing 5,000-plus yards. I'm going to go Michael Thomas here instead of Jordan Nelson. So I'm going to go Michael Thomas as my second pick.
I like it. I mean, some people are making contrarian arguments to that, but hey, go for it. Jason, on the board.
And that pretty much makes my choice pretty easy. I'm going to go with Jordy Nelson.
There you go. Jordy Nelson off the board. Let's see. Des Bryant went next. Followed by that, we have... my computer froze for a second. T.Y. Hilton, Leonard Fournette, and I am sitting here on the board, and I am going to, as I said... Man, I can't believe I'm actually doing this. I am going to be drafting Aaron Rodgers in the second round.
Good pick, guy.
Don't dry heave on your computer. Just don't do it.
Good pick, guy.
Yeah. I feel so
Solid
dirty.
Player.
Look. This resembles my dynasty team so far, and I love Aaron Rodgers. I really do. But why in the second round? So Amari Cooper went next. Then Isaiah Crowell. Live drafter picking, of course, at the end of the first, and now he is picking yet again at the top of the third. So let's see where he goes with this.
He got two good running backs.
I like his team.
He got two good running backs.
We'll have to tweet out next time we do this. Tom Brady went next, then Lamar Miller, and oh god, I'm gonna have to do this too. No, I am.
There he is, right there. There he is.
Oh no, I hate everything.
Get him.
Listeners out there. I just want you to know that this is making me violently ill. I have Ezekiel Elliott, I have Aaron Rodgers, and now I have Rob Gronkowski on my team. It doesn't go earlier.
I'm so sorry for your team, Griffin. Sorry.
My team is amazing, but I have no depth at positions I need depth at. I hate everything right now.
You got depth.
Brandon Cooks went, Christian McCaffrey in the third, and then Doug Baldwin and Jason on the board.
All right, let's see here. We got a couple options. I got Allen Robinson available. I like him, but they got him rated so high. You know what? I'm going to grab my second running back. What?
Is trolling the consensus as you're making your pick.
Yep. 10 seconds, Jason. 10 seconds.
All right. Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon is my second running back.
Possibly a reach, possibly a steal. Wow. I like it. Possibly CJ on the board.
That is a steal.
He has yet to win the starting job, but if he does, that's going to be a steal.
All right, so this is going to be my third wide receiver. I'm going to take a guy that's going to have incredible upside. I got to take a guy that I know, current situations have happened where now he's basically bumped up to be the number one receiver in this offense. And it's probably going to take away a little bit of special teams, but, I still see him being a part of that. So I'm going to go ahead and pick Mr. Tyreek Hill here.
All right, Tyreek Hill off the board. You guys want to narrate for me? I think my computer froze.
All right, so we got Allen Robinson went next. Then we had Duke Hopkins, and then now our other guest that's joining us. He's deliberating now what he's going to do.
He's calling James Bond, and he went with Terrell Pryor.
There you go, Terrell Pryor. Alshon Jeffrey went next. Darius Thomas went next. Keenan Allen. Oh, dang it! He went next.
Fourth round.
Travis Kelce went next. Carlos Hyde went next. Now it's back on your boy CJ. Now, man, I got.
My computer caught up. All right.
Slim pickings. All right, you know what? I'm gonna go with this guy. I want to put your running backs. I want to put your running backs so bad right now, dude. All right,
they're all running backs available.
I know, dude. All right, I'm gonna go with Juice here, man. Jarvis Landry.
Juice.
All right. Jason on the board.
All right, let's see here. Drew Brees is there, but I probably won't take him. And Doug Martin's sitting there, and they got him rated nice and high, which they should be rated high. But I'm also looking at Crabtree. I'm going to go ahead and take my second receiver. I'm going to go with Michael Crabtree in the fourth.
All right. I like it. Computer on the board for Doug Martin, Adrian Peterson, Spencer Ware.
I knew it.
And now I am here, and man, do I need a wide receiver. And, oh, man, I don't like any of these guys as my number one. All right, so my choices for the listeners out there, top-rated guys are Devontae Adams, Sammy Watkins, Martavis Bryant, Brandon Marshall. So those are my choices, and I'm going to have to go with the guy so I can, more so I can get the stack with my quarterback. I'm drafting Devontae Adams as my number one wide receiver.
No.
Anyone who knows me knows that makes me kind of sick. Sammy Watkins, too much of an injury risk. And
the horror.
Yes, the horror is an appropriate way to put it. All right. YG on the board at the end of the fourth round. Yig. He took Martavis Bryant. Let's see what he does with his second pick on the turn.
Okay. Martavis Bryant.
All right.
Garrett Blunt. Okay. Drew Brees, and now I am back on the board yet again, so I am going to go in a direction of trying to fill out still my starters. And plenty of wide receivers that I like. Running backs are starting to dry up, so I'm going to head back to the running back position. And in the fifth round, I don't trust Ty Montgomery. C.J. Anderson is going to be in a timeshare. Mike Gillislee, there's a million running backs there. Amir Abdullah, I like, but they don't run the ball a lot in Detroit. I have him as more of a sixth-round pick. So I'm going to go with the upside of a guy who hopefully will continue losing weight, and therefore will get all the starting jobs. I hate that we have to keep saying that, but Eddie Lacy is going as my number 2 running back. So Ty Montgomery off the board, Jordan Reed off the board, Amir Abdullah did go, and now Jason on the board.
Okay. Let's see. Brandon Marshall's there, but I don't like it. Dylan Edelman, Kevin Coleman. A couple of options here, but I'm going to hold off on those guys. And as much as I hate to do it, I'm trying to see where I've got him ranked. Yeah, I've got him ranked. C.J. Anderson.
Okay.
as my third as a bench running back. So, yeah.
All right. You sound so excited about that.
On the board with his zero
I am
RB
on the
strategy.
board. All right, I'm looking at a couple guys. I mean, I could go Brandon Marshall here. We got Julian Edelman, Kevin Benjamin, Moncrief, Golden Tate, Larry Fitzgerald. But a guy that Griffin, I talked about first, and then Griffin had a nice piece about him a couple shows ago. I'm gonna go with an upside man, and I'm gonna go. I know this is probably not good because I already got his partner in crime, but I'm gonna go Willie Snead here. I'm gonna go ahead and draft him.
Ooh, that's very early for Willie Snead, but
that's a little early.
We'll see how that works out. He's stuck in his strategy. All right, so Brandon Marshall went next. Andrew Luck is the next quarterback off the board. Live drafter at 11 with M, whoever M is.
M.
So thank God that was my last. I did my requirements. I did my requirements. I can now draft a running back. Thank goodness.
The color that when you draft a wide receiver is green, and right now CJ is all green.
All green. I'm all into green.
To bottom.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Oh man.
Look at this. Oh, look at this filth at running back. Oh, my
M took Dalvin Cook, Greg Olsen off the board, Julian Edelman at the top of the 6, Larry Fitzgerald, Tevin Coleman, Matt Ryan, CJ on the board from his short turn.
This is wow. I don't like this strategy at all.
I would have gone running back in the 5th personally if I was stuck with this strategy. But I respect you sticking to your guns.
I'm gonna go the guy that I believe in that's gonna get the starting job in Washington. So I'm gonna go Samaje Perine as my first running back off the board.
Yeah, good choice.
All right, I like it. Samaje Perine off the board. Jason on.
Cool. Yeah, I got a couple of options here. I've got Golden Tate sitting there. I like Golden Tate. But you know what? I am going to go with the best available player on my board, and that is tight end, Jimmy Graham. Give me some Jimmy Graham.
I really like that. I actually have him as I'm almost uncomfortable with how high I have him in my rankings right now. We'll get to that.
It makes me uncomfortable.
Well, the way I have it broken down, I believe he's my number 2 or number 3 tight end as of my most recent statting adjustments. So Derek Carr went next, Golden Tate, Tyler Eifert, and here I am on the board. Oh, I have to go wide receiver because I'm rounding out my starters. Yep. All right, so my choices. Kelvin Benjamin. I don't like him. He's overweight. Dante Moncrief. Another touch. Oh, I have no volume between these guys. Jamison Crowder will get volume. Randall Cobb, Corey Davis. Oh, man, I'm going to be stuck with it. All right. Oh, no. I am
Sean Jackson there.
A boom-bust player. So I'm going to go with Dante Moncrief, going with 2 very touchdown-dependent wide receivers as my top 2. I am hating this right now. Mike Gillislee went next. Live drafter on the board at the end of the 6th round. So let's see where he goes with this. He went Kelvin Benjamin.
Oh, man.
All right, let's see. He's back on the board. Of course, swing pick, top of the 7th. Let's see what he got.
I just realized, Griffin, I broke the Contrarian. I wasn't supposed to take a tight end until later.
Oh, no, you totally did.
Oh, you ruined it. You ruined it.
I'm sorry.
Jason, you ruined everything.
Oh, my gosh. Shame.
You weren't supposed to take tight end until double digits. All right.
Double-digit round. I am sorry.
All right, listeners out there, make sure you shame Jason appropriately
in
the comments.
Jason.
I feel shame.
I'm over here turning my stomach that I'm passing up all these running backs.
Yep.
Just stay true to what we put him forward. This guy just blatant.
CJ, I hate to do this to you, but I'm filling out my flex position now, so I can go either running back or wide receiver. So I'm going to go with a guy who's going to be getting a lot of volume and is being really overlooked, I feel like. And I am drafting one Paul Perkins.
No! What are you doing?
No.
In the 7th round. So Martellus Bennett, Hunter Henry, Paul Perkins, Russell Wilson, Derrick Henry, Mark Ingram, and now Jason is back on the board, having ruined the whole exercise of what we're doing here.
I'm sorry. I am legitly sorry about that. I completely forgot. All right, so I got I feel like a moron. All right, so I could take Bilal Paul right now, but I'm not going to. Let's see here. Who do we got at wide receivers? I could use another wide receiver. Deshaun Jackson, Jamison Crowder. Yuck. I am going to go with Deshaun Jackson.
Oh, thank God. Okay.
There you go. I won't do that to you. I'm not Griffin.
I hate every bit of
you
this
have to
pick,
be out for yourself here.
but I will go Bilal Powell just off of volume and that he's the only true back there.
Yeah, that's why I didn't take him.
All right. So Deshaun Jackson, Bilal Powell, Delaney Walker going way too early to me with obviously Eric Decker now going there. Yep. Jameson Crowder, live drafter at number 11. So beginning to the back of the 7th round. Come on, M. This is great radio. Come on, M.
We're waiting on M right now.
I gotta tell you, I do. Since I'm rounding out my starters, does that mean I have to go kicker defense early as well?
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
Yes.
I would say
yes.
say no.
I would say no because that's not the way it generally goes.
That is how it is. Yeah. Listen. That's just fine print stuff. You said you fill out your starters, and that kicker and defense is a part of your starting lineup, sir.
It is, but I think that's universally known that you take those at the end. It's only in mock drafts or inexperienced
players. You're on the board,
check it out.
CJ, you're on the board,
CJ. I know. I'm going. I'm gonna go. We'll go Kareem Hunt here.
To recap, M took Frank Gore, then it was Kirk Cousins, then we're at the top of the 8th. Latavius Murray, Randall Cobb, Rob Kelly, Stephon Diggs. CJ took Kareem Hunt. Interesting choice. And Jason, you are on the board.
I am on the board. Let's see here. I got a couple of decent options here. Let's see. I got Kenneth Dixon. I got Danny Woodhead, Jamal Charles, Thomas Rawls. You know what? I am going to go with Kenneth Dixon.
Okay, gonna be suspended the first 4 weeks. Interesting choice. Emmanuel Sanders, Ben Roethlisberger, Corey Davis, and because running back is still scarce and it's getting thinner, I'm gonna go with the guy who's actually gonna be starting in Baltimore, and I'm drafting Terrence West in the 8th round. So he is on my team.
Yeah, he'll be good for 4 weeks.
He's going to be good through the year as the first, second down back.
Yeah, for 4 weeks. Then he'll be good on the bench.
Trust me, this is my team. I'm plugged in there. I know what's going on. Devontae Parker off the board.
You make a comment. You make a little snippy comment every time somebody drafts someone you don't agree with. So shut your hole.
Oh!
Shots fired. All right, we're waiting at the end of the 8th for YG. Okay, he took Pierre Garçon back on the board, top of the 9th. Yig. Does it really matter?
It's probably the noise he makes whenever he has to draft somebody who doesn't like yig.
Perhaps. Oh, man. Just looking back at the wide receivers, I hate everything. This strategy is so stupid. Why do people do this? All right, Corey Coleman off the board, Danny Woodhead off the board. I am back, and I am looking at choices at the wide receiver position. Jeremy Maclin in Baltimore, I like, but we'll see how that plays out. Eric, he's going to get a ton of volume. Eric Decker in Tennessee, that could work out pretty well as well. Of course, those are the two guys in new places, but I'm going to go with the guy who I'm expecting to have a good bounce back year and keep up with my what is borderline ridiculous boom bust choices at wide receiver. This is frustrating me because I don't like boom bust players, but I'm going to go John Brown of the Arizona Cardinals.
Knew you were gonna do that.
If he can stay healthy, he will return very well on value, especially for a 9th round pick. Jamal Charles went next, then Jeremy Maclin. Oh man, OJ Howard.
I thought about taking him. That's not high. That's not high at all. That's a good pick.
Gross. No, it's not.
I thought
Get
about
out of
taking
here.
John Brown, but I forgot that you were ahead of me, so I was like, dang it.
Mm-hmm.
Shouldn't even have thought.
OJ Howard should not be going in the 9th. Sorry. Jason, you're on the board.
No, he's fine in the 9th.
No, he's not.
He's fine in the 9th. Yeah, he is.
He's really not.
Right, so
he's not going to play.
Can we move on with the show, please, guys?
He's not going to play.
I can do this all day. It's fine.
10 seconds,
You're not
Jason.
bully me into this. All right, I'll go ahead and take Eric Decker. I hate Eric Decker, but I'll take him.
All right, CJ on the board. Still looking for running back depth, I assume.
Yep, I'm going to take a shot in the dark. A guy that I know my coach loves, and he's going to give him the ball. I'm going to go Darren Sproles here.
All right.
Wow.
Like it. All right, so Darren Sproles, a shot to have decent volume. Cam Newton, Thomas Rawls, live drafter of M at the end of the 9th. Looking back at my team, I hate it. I love my starting running back, and I do love my starting quarterback and tight end as well. But from that point on, I really, really have so many question marks throughout my team. I wasn't able to get anything concrete past the 3rd round.
Yeah, I went Darren Sproles there because I was looking at CJ Prosise, but I think Darren Sproles is going to get a lot more volume than CJ Prosise. So that's why I just went with him.
Yep. And went with Marvin Jones and then Matt Forte at the end of the 9th. Top of the 10th, Jameis Winston, Theo Riddick, Dak Prescott, Jonathan Stewart, and now CJ back on the board.
I'm back on the board. What we got? I got a little time. I'm gonna go with it. Even though I made a strong argument saying that my guy he's better in a better situation. He got guys around him, so he should have a good year in the slot. I'm gonna go with a guy I've actually absolutely fell in love with last year, man. Just the relationship he has with Sammy B. So I'm gonna go. I got a feeling for Adam Thielen.
All right.
There you go.
Adam Thielen on CJ's team. Jason on the board.
Okay. Well, I got some options here at wide receiver. Cameron Meredith, Rashard Matthews. I don't like anybody in Tennessee right now. Mike Williams is a rookie. Quincy Enunwa sitting there. I think I might go with him. I've also got Jordan Matthews as a possibility. But I think I'll go with Enunwa.
All right. Enunwa.
In the 10th.
I like it. All right, the Kansas City Chiefs defense. First defense off the board, Jaquiz Rodgers, Rashard Matthews, and now it is my turn to pick. I am looking at basically the same wide receivers you were. Let's look at the running backs. There's nothing I really truly like over there. Some guys with upside down the line, but they're players that are going to have to win starting jobs. In fact, I'm sure some of them will be there later. So I'm going to go with the guy who's sitting up kind of high, who on volume and opportunity, and he was a number 2 wide receiver last year. He could easily repeat that. I think I'm going to go with Mike Williams of Baltimore, 10th round. That is to me great value. He's going to get a lot more volume this year, and obviously a home run hitter. So he is on my team.
You mean Mike Wallace, right?
I did mean Mike Wallace. I was looking at Mike Williams when I drafted Mike Wallace. Thank you very much. Not the rookie, Mike Wallace of Baltimore, not Mike Williams of, I almost said San Diego, of Los Angeles. Broncos defense went Marcus Mariota.
We are completely off.
What are you drinking over there, man? What is happening?
Monster Rehab, tea, lemonade, and energy.
It's not rehabbing anything if your brain, so stop drinking.
It's really not. Top of the 11th, Houston defense, Cameron Meredith. I'm back, and I'm going to go with a guy who I believe will truly be the starter. Maybe not week 1, but I think he's going to win the job before the season was too far in. And I'm going to grab Jamal Williams of Green Bay as one of my backup running backs.
Took my guy.
He has an amazing opportunity. And I don't expect Ty Montgomery to stay healthy past the first couple of weeks. So he is on my team. I really am starting to like my running back depth and opportunity. Seattle Seahawks defense, Phillip Rivers, Jeremy Hill, and now Jason, you are back on the board.
He took my quarterback.
Oh, Phillip Rivers got one?
Yeah, I was trying to hold out for Phillip Rivers.
Aw.
All right, let's see.
There's still so many quarterbacks I like. What are you going to do, Jason?
Tyrell Williams, Jordan Matthews. Jordan Matthews is still there. Look at that. All right, sure, why not? Jordan Matthews.
All right, Jordan Matthews. CJ on the board.
Oh, my gosh. I hate every bit of it.
This is fantastic.
I am about to do
something.
Right, I'm about to do something that is totally disgusting to me. I'm not even going to say his name. I'm going to let Griffin do it.
Do it. I know what you're doing. I got to see it before I say it.
He's about to be my quarterback.
Do it.
Oh, God.
Eli Manning, quarterback of CJ the Hitman Hickman. Oh, CJ, that's so good. Mike Williams of Los Angeles, there you go, went next. Then the Cardinals defense, Kyle Rudolph. That's really late for Kyle Rudolph. The Patriots defense, then top of the 12th, we have Taylor Gabriel, Andy Dalton, Tyrell Williams. The Vikings defense, CJ back on the board. Zach Ertz. All right, decent choice at tight end. I like that. All right, and now we have Jason on the board.
Back on the board here. I can look at a quarterback now because I'm well into double digits. So we got Matthew Stafford, Tyrod Taylor. Well, you know what? I'm going to go with him. Carson Palmer is my quarterback.
Of course.
I love that for the 12th round. Great upside.
12th round at the steal.
Great upside. All right, Matthew Stafford, the Giants defense, Tyrod Taylor, and now I'm back on the board. How many running backs do I have now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I only have 4 receivers.
You know, all this complaining about your team, you've got some decent depth I'm looking at here. Jamal Williams, Mike Wallace, John Brown.
Sure
That's
do.
Good depth, man.
All right, and I'm going to take yet another great upside play, a guy we're hearing good things about, and if he is able to seize the role that has been given to him, I think he could turn out to be quite a steal, and that is going to be Josh Doxson on my team in the 12th round. Drafted.
All right.
John Ross went next.
That's a decent.
Yeah, James White, CJ Prosise, and Kevin White, and I'm back at the top of the 13th. Let's see, this is a 15-round draft, so I have one more player to draft before I start drafting kicker and defense. Well, for all of us, honestly. So, running back or wide receiver, what's available at running back? I already have 5 running backs, so I'm honestly good there. I don't like any of these guys. I don't think any of these guys are going to be getting the rock very much, so let's go back to wide receiver. Let's go for another chance at a home run hitter in Ted Ginn Jr. Now of the Saints' best offense he's ever been in. He has all the upside in the world. So
that's a decent pick. I like it.
Yeah. Marlon Mack, Brashad Perryman, Sterling Shepard, and now Jason, you are on the board for your final skill position pickup.
Yeah, let's see. I've got Joe Williams sitting there in San Francisco. He could end up playing quite a bit depending on Carlos Hyde. I've got Deontay Foreman down there in Houston. Lamar Miller's going to be the guy there. Jonathan Williams in Buffalo.
Oh, I totally should have drafted kicker. All right, anyway, keep going.
That's all right. I'm going to go with Joe Williams in San Francisco because you can almost bet on Carlos Hyde getting hurt.
Oh, that's a safe bet. Joe Williams.
I'm gonna go take a shot down in New Orleans, man. Take a shot at their rookie. So I'm gonna go ahead and draft Alvin Kamara.
Alvin Kamara. All right. Wait. Oh, yeah, you took Kareem Hunt earlier. I was going to say, I thought you already took him. No, you took Kareem Hunt earlier. Never mind. Deion Lewis, Jack Doyle. There goes my Ravens defense. And Justin Tucker. I knew I should have taken one of them in the 13th and gone 15th round for an upside shot in the dark player. Anyway, Cole Beasley, top of the 14th. Steven Koskowski, Dan Bailey, Matt Bryant, CJ on the board. Who are you going to take, buddy?
I'm going to go with, I'm going to look defense here. You know what? I know they stunk it up in the Super Bowl. I'm going to go Atlanta here. I'm going to go Atlanta defense.
That's a decent pick.
Interesting choice.
Decent pick, and they got better. So, for me, I'm also going to go defense, and I think I'm going to go with the Jacksonville Jaguars. That is a severely upgraded defense.
Dang, I was going to try and grab them. Matt Prater, Adam Vinatieri, Steven Janikowski, rather. I'm on the board. I'm going to go with the Los Angeles Rams defense. And my explanation, of course, there's a lot of talent there, and I think it's actually going to be properly utilized now with Wade Phillips in town. So, and if not, I'll just drop him and stream the position. Why not? Mason Crosby, Cario Santos, that was the end of the 14th, top of the 15th. Tyler Lockett, Carson Wentz, I am back. I need a kicker. Who am I going to take? Let's go mile high with Brandon McManus. Why not? I don't really... Well, actually...
Sure.
Couple guys I like. Screw it. It's the end of the draft. I'm going to take him. You know, he can get longer kicks for me if your league gives you return for distance. You know, plenty of upside there.
That boy's got a leg.
He sure does.
And he's mile high.
Mile high, thinner air. Will Fuller, Julius Thomas, Kenny Britt, Jason on the board for your final pick.
Julius Thomas in the 15th. That is some good stuff.
This is why I wait.
Need a kicker. I'm going to go with Chris Boswell out of Pittsburgh.
Okay. You know what? The only reason I'm taking this player, just because I'm a fan of a show that we like to listen to, podcast. So I'm going to go down to Tampa. I'm going to pick up Roberto Aguayo.
Provided he wins the job. All right. Robert Woods, Donta Freeman, Kobe Fleener, hey, and then Duke Johnson at the end of the draft. So, guys.
Kobe Fleener got drafted? How'd that happen?
Because there was a smart player there. That's why.
No, that's not a thing.
All right. So, let's recap our teams really fast, and then we're going to go ahead and sign off. My team. All right. I love most of my starters. I have Aaron Rodgers. I have Ezekiel Elliott and Eddie Lacy at running back. At wide receiver, I have Devontae Adams and Dante Moncrief. That's gross. At tight end, Rob Gronkowski. Brandon McManus and the Los Angeles defense as my kicker and obviously defense. On my bench, I have Paul Perkins, which I do like, Terrence West, and Jamal Williams, Green Bay. A lot of upside there. I love those picks. At wide receiver, John Brown, Mike Wallace, Josh Doxson, and Ted Ginn Jr. Upside plays, but I'm not liking the floor on any of my wide receivers. Jason, your team.
I once again apologize for taking a tight end too early.
As you should.
Suck, Jason.
As I should. I apologize. Okay, so quarterback Carson Palmer. He's going to have a good year this year. Nice bounce back year. Can't wait to see it. Running backs. I took Marshawn Lynch in the first. Everyone's going to call that a reach. You know what? I think I'm going to look like a genius by the end of the season. He's running behind the best, pretty much one of the best lines in football. So I'm excited about that. Joe Mixon's my other starter at the running back position. Wide receivers, Jordy Nelson. Love me some Jordy Nelson. I'm so excited I got him in the second round. Michael Crabtree and Deshaun Jackson. What?
I said that's amazing.
You said amazing. You sound like the Cookie Monster when you said it.
Jordy Nelson in the second? That's awesome.
Okay, anyway. Tight end, Jimmy Graham. Yep, took him way too early. My bad.
Boo.
Shut up. Defense, Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm excited about them this year. I think they're going to play really, really well. Chris Boswell from Pittsburgh is my kicker. And then on my bench, I got C.J. Anderson and Kenneth Dixon and Joe Williams as my running backs. I'm obviously banking on some upside with those guys. And then at wide receiver, I got Eric Decker, Quincy Enunwa, Jordan Matthews.
All right.
All right. So my guys. Oh, God. I got a quarterback. Then I took. Then I have Mike Evans and Michael Thomas. No, Crabs. And then I have. Tyreek Hill as my my three tight end. I'm not three tight ends. I'm sorry. 3 wide receivers. Then my bench. No, I'm sorry. Then I have my kickers, Roberto Aguayo. Then I have Atlanta's defense. Then my bench. I got Juice. I went Willie Snead. My starting running backs, Samaje Perine and Bilal Powell. Then I have Kareem Hunt, Darren Sproles, Adam Thielen. Zach Ertz is my starting tight end. And then I went Alvin Kamara. That is my team.
That was the most scattered recap.
It was. Right. I don't like doing that because
All right. Eli Manning, his starting quarterback, starting running back, Samaje Perine and Bilal Powell. Wide receivers are Mike Evans.
Don't redo it.
Michael Thomas. I couldn't even follow it. And Jarvis Landry at the bench. There you go. All right, so that's going to do it for us today. Please make sure you guys tune in on Friday where we are going to do basically a deep dive recapping this draft. We're going to go into what we learned, our takeaways, of course, maybe how this impacted us and our strategies going forward. So probably not really, but a lot of lessons learned. So it's going to be a really in-depth recap. As always, if you want to play against us in fantasy football this year, you think you can do better than us, you think you can beat us, that's half the fun. Bring it on, guys. All you have to do, as we mentioned, iTunes review challenge. Doesn't have to be a 5-star review, but I'm going to say it can't hurt your chances. We greatly appreciate that. It doesn't have to be. So again, iTunes, rating, review, and give us a Twitter handle at the bottom so we can reach you if you are selected. Winners will be chosen at random. And again, make sure you guys subscribe to the show on iTunes, Stitcher, YouTube, wherever you guys are. We're here every Tuesday and Friday through the off season into the main season, doing all the starts and sits, waiver wire ads, all the good stuff throughout the year. So keep it tuned in here. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter at the FF Fanatics, or you can follow us individually if you like one of us more than the others, maybe. You can follow me at GPalmerFFF, CJ at CJ Hickman89, Jason's at Jason Cabrera 13. And again, if you want to support the show and get bonus shows every week, patreon.com/thefantasyfootballfanatics. Speaking of Patreon, if you guys are heading over there or you're interested in what we're talking about this week, we're doing an IDP recap and review. That's your individual defensive players. We're finishing out the defensive side, talking about defensive backs from last year. So again, if you guys enjoyed the show, please make sure you rate, review. Any parting thoughts, guys?
Guys, listen, we were so close on YouTube, man. I said 280. We were at 279. Come on, let's get it there, baby. So next time we on here, a Friday show, man, I want to see that thing at 290, man. Let's do it.
Come on, YouTube. I mean, YouTube makes up literally 1% of our viewing audience, but let's get it to 1.1%.
Not for long.
Not for long.
Get it.
All right, we're out of here. Everyone, take care. Have a great week. We'll see you on Patreon. If not, we'll see you on Friday. Bye.
Life in the fast lane.
I am sorry. I legitimately forgot.
Jason, what are we going to do with you?
Haha. a lot.